Hey Spuddies, Potato McWhiskey here, and I'm collaborating with Paradox Interactive to bring you this tutorial on Tomes in Age of Wonders 4. Tomes are your magical progression in Age of Wonders 4. They are the primary way that you unlock new units and abilities for your faction. The system is fairly unique, so we're going to be breaking it down piece by piece and explaining the mechanics from top to bottom. In this video, we will cover knowledge and learning, tome progression, spell types, mana and casting points, and casting spells. When you select a tome to research in Age of Wonders 4, you get an initial bonus. For example, the Tome of the Horde gives you +2 Chaos Affinity, the Mob Camp Special Province Improvement, and the Battle Seeker Training Skill for heroes. The rest of the tome's bonuses will require you to research them with a resource called Knowledge. The more knowledge you generate, the faster you will research spells from your tome. Primarily coming from your cities, knowledge is increased by buildings such as a library, province improvements like the Research Post, and as a tribute resource from your vassals. There are other ways to get research, like resource pickups, quests, and affinity bonuses. When you're prompted to research a new spell, you will get offered 3 random choices. If you don't like the options you've been given to research, you can choose to shuffle your choices to get new ones. If you get offered 2 spells that you would like to research, you can lock in a choice so it will be available on the next research cycle. Both shuffling and locking in research cost mana. Tomes don't just allow you to research new spells, sometimes they allow you to train or summon new units. The Tome of Winds allows you to train Zephyr archers in your cities, as well as summon the Wind Rager. You can also unlock new city structures, like the Tribunal from the Tome of Inquisition. Finally, there are siege projects, which can drastically alter the starting conditions of a siege battle. Let's talk about tome progression next. Every few research cycles, you'll be given the choice of a new tome to research. You can select any available tome of any affinity, so selecting one nature tome does not lock you into researching only nature tomes. Once you've researched 2 tomes of the same tier, you can research a tome of a higher tier. So researching 2 tier 1 tomes will unlock researching a tier 2 tome, all the way to unlocking tier 5 tomes, which typically carry the most powerful abilities, as well as your affinity win condition. Tomes of the same affinity combine well together. However, the real joy of the system is mixing and matching different tomes. I'm going to walk you through my favorite build, which works extremely well with the Little Grabby Horde from the faction creation tutorial. Tome of the Horde and Tome of Beasts combine well because both tomes give you access to a tier 2 unit that summons tier 1 animal units, and both tomes provide buffs for animals and tier 1 units, which allow you to have a powerful core ranged army with an extremely strong frontline of disposable summoned animals to occupy the enemy. For tier 2 tomes, I take the Tome of Artificing for artisan armaments, which gives extra critical hit chance, and the Tome of the Beacon for the Mighty Meek, which allows my tier 1 units to punch above their weight class. For tier 3, I take Tome of Devastation for even more critical hit chance, and making my enemies explode on death. The Siege project, Unleash the Warhounds, works extremely well for me too. At this point, a single army of mine can rip down any city solo, especially if I take the Tome of Vigor, which just continues to make me unstoppable. The Tome of Nature's Wrath allows me to destroy enemy provinces to create forests, and then I can cast another spell to turn those forests into army stacks of animals and plants to assault their domains. Finally, we finish with the Tome of the Goddess of Nature. The Force of Nature unit enchantment now means that my animal units have a nearly guaranteed chance to critical hit with every single attack. This is just one example of a research path you can take in Age of Wonders 4. There are 6 affinities and 9 books per affinity, giving you practically endless possible combinations. Let's talk about the type of spells in the game. There are many types of spells in Age of Wonders 4. There are 2 broad categories, world map spells and combat spells. World map spells are cast on the strategic map. They can be unit enchantments that enhance the combat strength of your units, minor and major racial transformations which alter the species of your faction, summon spells which allow you to create units, city spells that give you a one-time bonus to a city, and sustained city spells that improve an aspect of your cities over time. Friendly and enemy army spells buff and heal allied armies or debuff and damage enemy armies. Terraforming spells change the strategic map, altering the terrain. That covers world map spells. Let's talk about combat spells, which are used when you engage an enemy army in tactical combat. Buff spells enhance your troops, debuff spells hinder your enemies, healing spells restore your unit's health, damage spells reduce the health of your foes, combat summon spells bring new units to your side in battle. Some spells have secondary effects that aren't caught in these categories, such as the ignite spell setting the ground on fire, leaving a hazard that changes the battlefield. Spells can also be multiple categories, such as both buffing and healing your troops. Now that we've covered spells, let's go over mana and casting points. In order to cast a spell in Age of Wonders 4, you need mana and casting points in equal measure. Mana is the fundamental currency of magic. It's used to pay for the spell's upfront cost as well as the upkeep cost if a spell is an enchantment or has a continuous effect. You obtain mana primarily from your city's buildings, the conduit province improvement, and mana node resources inside your domain. There are other ways to earn mana, such as resource pickups, certain society traits and affinities, as well as trading with other empires and city-states. Casting points are another matter. You have 2 kinds of casting points: world map casting points, which are used to cast world map spells, and combat casting points, which are used to cast tactical combat spells. This is your primary bottleneck for how often often and how many spells you can cast. Unlocking new and higher tier tomes will increase your casting points. Some abilities allow you to have more casting points in battles, or restore them based on some kind of action, like killing a unit. Spellcasting itself is surprisingly straightforward. You open up the spell list, select the spell you wish to cast, and then choose the place you want to cast it, if it's a targeted spell. On the world map, different spells target different things. Summoning spells target individual hex tiles, army spells target armies, terraforming spells target an entire province, and city spells target cities. On the battle map, spells target individual tiles, individual units, categories of units, unit corpses. Take care and read your spells carefully. You wouldn't want to misclick and fireball your most important hero into oblivion, or set your units on fire. I am definitely not talking from experience, and I have never once accidentally obliterated my own units with my magical abilities. How dare you? Hopefully this gives you an idea of the wealth of possibilities Tomes in Magic have to offer in Age of Wonders 4. The next tutorial will be talking about units, transformations, and enchantments. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Check the description of the video for more information, and leave a comment with your opinion on incinerating your own units, just to send a message. That's it from me. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys next time.